Hello everybody, welcome to Let's Play Broken Crescent 2.42. My name is Fuzz and I will be your guide through the medieval Middle East. Broken Crescent is a mod released, in this version at least, back in 2015. The original one came out, almost probably 5 or 6 years prior to that. This version of the mod introduces a bunch of new factions, a larger map size, and there's still all of the same things we've come to know and love about Broken Crescent. It is a mod for Medieval 2 Total War, and in the description for the video there's a link to download that, and it's pretty straightforward now. I really love this mod and I wanted to showcase all that it encompasses. It is set in 1174 AD, and it goes all the way through the Mongol invasions in the 2020s. So it covers 50 years of medieval Middle Eastern history, and then obviously you can keep on going forever, but such is the way of Total War campaigns, if anyone has any experience. There are a huge variety of factions to choose from. I just want to show you guys a few of the options. So in terms of Orthodox nations, we have the Roman Empire, based in Constantinople. Other people might know them as the Byzantines. We also have the Seljuks of Rum, who grew into the Ottomans, and so that's a name that'll be familiar. We have the Kingdom of Jerusalem, and this faction is pretty fun. It's based off of history, but also off the movie Kingdom of Heaven, because I think they came out around the same time, the movie and this mod. So you might recognize some photos of Orlando Bloom or some of the other characters from that film. Then you have the other Christian players like the Kingdom of Armenia, the Kingdom of Georgia. There's also the Principality of Vladimir Suzdal up here in, basically modern-day southern Russia / Ukraine. And then there's, of course, a huge variety of Islamic factions. We have the Zengids, we have factions in modern-day Pakistan and Afghanistan, the Ghaznavids, the Ghurids. We've got Yemen, Oman, the Abbasid Caliphate, the Ayyubids, which is Salahuddin, Saladin. That's kind of the area he rules. Then we have another successor state to this big ol' kind of Persian, Turkic empire that used to rule over this entire area of Iran and into Iraq and further on into Syria. Then we have the Umayyads, and again, if I haven't said it already, I'm going to mispronounce a lot of things. I'm going to mispronounce names, cities, phrases. It's not going to be pretty, and so I apologize for that, and I always look forward to corrections. I don't speak Arabic, any Turkic language, Turkish, Farsi, you name it, I do not speak it. Anything in terms of Armenian, Georgian, Latin, obviously. So I do apologize for any really brazen mispronunciations. I always look forward to getting corrected on that. And in terms of talking about places, I'm probably going to use some place names interchangeably with their modern day counterparts. I definitely don't mean any offense by anything. And if I say anything that you think is wrong, please let me know. But I definitely don't intend anything in terms of misinformation or saying things in one way that could be interpreted poorly. Obviously, this entire map covers a lot of areas that are in the news today. The Zengids, for example, are based in Syria. We have crusaders fighting over the Middle East, the Levant, really. And I know that there's some political movements in the U.S. right now that are using phrases from Kingdom of Heaven to talk. So, nothing I'm using, I want it to be totally within the context of this game set in the medieval Middle East, and only within the context of the game. So with that out of the way, I think we can start playing this game. And so one faction I wanted to focus on, because I think they're a lot of fun, there's going to be a big variety of things to do. Not the Crusaders. What I want to do is I'm going to play as Oman. I know, unexpected, right? And this is why I want to play as them, because they're located here in Oman, and there's a lot of opportunity for them to expand up here into Iran, expand into southern Arabia, expand into the Northern Africa area, but I can also kind of explore India, explore many different directions. So I think it'll give you a good scope of some of the Islamic factions, because I haven't even talked about the Indian factions. But yes, there are elephants. And plus, one thing that's nice about this is hopefully I'll build up my empire nice enough for when the Mongols come, I can kind of go and lead some battles. One faction I did want to touch on real quick before we start playing as Oman are a new one called the Karakutai. Also in the game, they're the Karakutan Khaganate. And they are a Central Asian group that live up here, just kind of north of Samarkand. I think they're a really cool faction. They allow for a kind of a different, more mobile play style. And so there's a lot of heavy cavalry, and their moment in history kind of comes where Genghis Khan was invading the rest of this area, and he said, don't be like them, because they didn't welcome me, and now they aren't around anymore. So that was probably a horrible misrepresentation of history, but hey, that's why we come to watch Broken Crescent, right? We can rewrite history however we want. And in this case, we're going to take some people from Oman and take over at least 40 regions, and we're going to see what happens. So let's get started. Now, my goals for this campaign are just to have some fun, show off what you can do. And I have turned off the music for the most part, because I think there's some copyright material in there. And this game is based on the 2006 mod, so in a sense of what's going on. But that's enough for that. Hopefully I'm not going to get flagged for some copyright violation, because I'm pretty sure the mod makers use some music from Dune or various other movies, so that might be enough to get me, but whatever. I'll just say, hey, sorry, no problem. In case you couldn't tell, I'm kind of new to YouTube and Let's Plays, so I'm not sure what necessarily is required there, but I just want to make sure that I can keep this video up without insulting anybody. So let's see what our faction requires in terms of immediate action, and then let's stake out a plan of action. I think in the future I am going to probably skip end turn times, but that probably won't happen until maybe turn 50 or 60. I think at a certain point, if we just run out of things to talk about in the end turn, or the end turns are just taking way too long, that's when we're probably going to go ahead and just skip those. So there's a lot of different religion in this game. There's a couple different types of Islam, and again, if I misrepresent anything, I am sorry, but at least in this period, my understanding is that the rulers of Oman follow the Abadi sect of Islam, and so this is a little background to it. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Maybe you're getting some, but basically there's an Abadi tradition that's based here with my ruling family of Oman, and it's just talking about how this whole area kind of benefited from Islam and the Abadi tradition in particular. And so I just want to read maybe this last section. It says, after the initial founding of the Abadi sect, Oman was conquered by many different forces. The Karmatians, Buyids, and Seljuks all took control of the peninsula until the Nabhani dynasty took control. The Nabhani established the first regional dynasty in the area for over 300 years. So now it's up to me, it's up to us to lead this dynasty to greatness. So the Sultan of Muscat, which is one of our cities, has been defeated, and the sheikhs have stopped fighting to vest their power in the authority of the imam, which is, I believe, us. So take pride, for the soldiers have swelled your rank with the best fighting men that the coast has seen. The swordsmen who danced the raza to settle disputes have all sharpened their blades and sent out to rally in Nizwa. The tribe has spent their best sons on the well-bred camels to expand your authority. Now the Sultan has decided to cooperate and has used the massive wealth of the merchants to hire foreign troops to aid in our conquest. Under your leadership, O holy Imam, we will rebuild the Ummah indeed. So, that was a fancy way of saying we have one city, and we have a lot of work to do. So there's a couple things we want to look at. With Medieval 2 Total War, the map isn't all displayed in this lower left corner. We can see the the geography, but we can't see who's there. So we're going to have to constantly be trying to get map information, trying to get trade rights, trying to send diplomats up, because there's not a menu that you can instantly contact other factions from. So drawback of the Medieval 2 game. But so let's check out our territory. So we've got Nizwa. We have 2 small armies. Jeez. Okay, so let's check out our city. It's actually a castle. So in Medieval 2 Total War, you have cities and castles. Cities are better for lots of economic growth and lots of money, and castles are great for building armies, obviously. So we do have some catapults already in there. We've got a pretty good variety of troops. I'm not really sure how good they are, but we'll find out, I think, before long. And then we have some buildings that we can construct. And so looks like we have a pretty good variety of troops already, and I think my first goal is to just consolidate all my land here. I remember from the map that up here, kind of in Qatar, Bahrain, there is another faction up here. Yeah, the Unids, and so we want to make sure that we can... Oh, there's a spy right diplomat. Let's go and say hi to them.
Nuh-uh.
We're going to try to make sure that we can
As you will,
basically.
Sultan. There is something you wish to speak of?
So let's try to get trade rights and map information just to get a little more idea.
We must decline this, you
Okay,
speak
so
of,
they're going to give
Sadiq.
us trade rights.
If Allah is, we are most willing to hear
gonna
you out
ask for map
further.
information.
No,
Yeah, so
you
I
but
think
welcome
they're
words of
hostile
wisdom
to us.
such as these. Zaida, mighty Sultan.
And I'm going to kind of listen through this and make sure that the voices aren't too distracting while I'm talking. I'll try to get better at not talking over it. So it does look like Bahrain starts, or this is kind of a Bahraini dynasty, and it looks like they can move off the island and onto the main peninsula. So good to know. So all that tells me is they have some kind of weak troops. If I wanted to, I could probably send all my armies up there and take them over, but I don't know if I would succeed, and I also don't know down here what Yemen does. I've never played a game with Yemen in it before because they're in one of the new factions as well, and so there's a lot of land here for them to consolidate, and I know they are at war with the Ayyubids over in Egypt and this part of the Arabian Peninsula. So I think it just makes the most sense for me to focus on this section of the world in modern-day Oman, and then take a look at the Strait of Hormuz and see if I can't cross that, because I feel like it would be a pretty great thing if I could just set up a bunch of ships right here, or maybe right here, and keep everybody from being able to go in and out. And then I do think it would be great to expand further into Iran, and then maybe we can invade India, but that's probably getting way ahead of ourselves. One last thing I want to check out is what I heard some changes are for this area. So in the original Broken Crescent, this was just a good place to send merchants to get some ivory, which you can kind of zoom in there and see there. This is basically Somalia, the tip of Somalia right here. The map is a little crooked, so that way they could fit Rome all the way to India. But now there is actually a settlement on Socotra as well. So just more places for me to set up some trading posts, because I think maritime trade is going to be how I make my money and fund my armies. So,
my eyes are
Mani Spy is here. Let's go see what's going on. Muscat, that was one of the places they mentioned in the original document.
I serve your will.
And a merchant. So merchants can sit on resources, basically set up shop and give you some money every turn. I think they're about 1,000 florins is the money term in this game. I think they're 1,000 florins, and there's some upkeep involved, possibly. So, you know, you have to make sure you're going to get your money back if you build them. And then it's also this annoying mini game of a lot of people constantly trying to take over your settlement, or your little, not settlement, but rather your trade post. So looking around, it looks like spices over here are my best bet.
Wherever you will, Sultan.
So I'll make 88 turns,
Bringing in
or
new
88
trade,
per turn there. And so that's not bad. Looking at this merchant, he has some finance traits that helps, and he also is in a body, so I wonder if there's going to be religious traits for all my folks. Let's take a look at our money. Okay, so we are losing money, but we're actually not losing that much money. So I bet if I take over a settlement, we're going to kind of be in the green. So that's pretty good. And in terms of upkeep, it says army upkeep, $5,000. So yeah, if we lose a couple troops, maybe take over some more, get some more trade going, we'll be good. And wages is $850. That's kind of upkeep costs for your various family members and retinue guys. And then by retinue guys, I mean the spies, the merchants, the diplomats. So I don't know. I think I'm doing okay there. Definitely need to expand my income, and because I'm on easy mode, I get $2,500 a turn, and somehow corruption is benefiting me right now. So hopefully it stays that way. Here is my family members. Let's take a look at the family tree. So it looks like the great Imam Murshid is 60. Very pious dude. He has some authority, but according to this, it's not enough. And I don't know, he seems kind of average except for very religious. Let's take a look at Great Mufti. Oh, that's an awesome title. Great Mufti Kalan. So he's loyal, and he has good command. And I think he's going to be a good kind of hammer, so to speak, with that much command and that much loyalty. He's kind of even in terms of chivalry. Ooh, wow, this is good. And then Umar, who is another son of my faction leader, is very loyal and has pretty good command, and he's young. He's 18, and my heir is only 32, so I don't know. I feel pretty good about the family tree. So, if the Great Mufti and Umar are both leading armies, I say, let's combine them both.
As my Sultan will. Na'am, Sultan. Forming up together, Sultan.
Let's send those catapults over here. And let's attack Muscat
army will
right
not
away.
survive.
I'm going to maintain a siege for a second, because I want the battle to be the last thing I do. But the first battle time is pretty good. So what I want to do is build something. And let's look at the settlement details down here to see what's going on. So there's a lot of religious unrest, which is why we're only at full public order. And there's a lot of squalor, and that's only going to increase. And so I'm going to be honest, it's been a long time since I studied Islam. So it says Qajari Islam, which I probably mispronounced, is 40%. So I know we're a body. I'm just not sure what like the Qajarites are, the Qajarites. I'm just going to pronounce everything more English, American English than anything else. So there's some Sunni and Shia Islam being worshipped here. There's some paganism, Judaism, and various heresies. So what that tells me is I need to deal with that if I'm going to have a low type of garrison here. I also just want to build up my farms. We saw the economic output was really bad in my settlement, but that's what Muscat's for. So what I'm going to do first, we're going to get some happiness with the Abadi Masjid, and then we're going to get better troops apparently, and a conversion bonus. So that is what we're going to spend our money on. And then let's take a look at
my eyes
any other areas. Suhar is here. That's going to be a good settlement to take as well. So this is owned by Omani Emirates, and so is this. So there's just kind of rebel factions. And I don't think there's anything left for me to do this turn.
What is the Sultan?
Outside of seeing how this battle's going to go.
We will smite this foe, Sultan.
Alright, so I'm going to save the game. I have some other games going up. Let's see. Oman. I feel like there's a pun there. Let's say Oman. This is great. It's going to be our save game, because if there's one thing I've learned from playing Medieval 2 Total War, especially mods, is you never know when there's going to be a bug that you don't expect. I do have it set to autosave every single turn, but sometimes if you're not keeping multiple save games as time goes on, you're going to be in trouble, because maybe you have to go back 10 turns, 20 turns. I was trying to do a Let's Play for a different faction based in modern-day Azerbaijan. It was a lot of fun. It was really great. And I had this crazy game-breaking bug that made me lose 40 turns, in addition to the video spazzing out. And so I lost a lot of time. So I think we're going to do this battle, and then we're going to call it good after we sack the city. So we can see here, the city's beautiful. It's a nice-looking masjid right here. It's a Sunni masjid. So we're going to have to destroy that. Oh boy, this is going to be a politically charged video, I guess. And so since we're invading, I think it makes sense to have infantry first, then missile, then cavalry, because cavalry are going to do the least benefit. Although let's get these catapults up here, because we are invading this settlement without anything really. Like normally you'd have to wait it out, build up some siege equipment, but because we have catapults, that puts us in a good position. Looks like, according to this, victory is distinct possibility. Normally I auto-resolve siege battles because I think they're just kind of wonky in Medieval 2, but I think here it's worthwhile. And
Feed them death and hell!
let's do this. So I set up my troops in this big formation. Now I'm just gonna sit back and let them do their magic at the areas where there are troops on the wall. So let's zoom in and say hi. Of course, this wall can't even get anything. I guess I am close enough to the wall where they can attack me, but I don't see any of their troops hitting my troops. I see no notification that there's arrows coming in, so already 15% damage. That's just one volley of the catapult, so that's pretty good. I think I'm going to try to break one hole into the catapult, into the wall, and then, I don't know, I might just bombard the rest of them with flaming rocks or whatever. Okay, so I am taking some damage. Don't want to do that. Some Aceh warriors. I'm pretty sure Aceh is not in Oman, so that's pretty cool. I wonder if they're from Indonesia or something. Is that Aceh? Huh. That's cool. I'll have to look that up later. But in the meantime, oh cool, you can see through it. Hey guys, what's up? Oh, 45 damage. Someone's getting nervous. Look at them running away. So that's a good sign. And let's see what other troops they have. I should have looked before we attacked in case they had good troops, but... Alright, we have a bunch of spearmen carrying some kind of converted barrel, so not too worried about that. And, I'm sending the troops out to use their archers on me. I hope they regret that. Let's see, let's send these guys out. Because I'm just going to send some cavalry. These guys have missile cavalry, or Omani nobles, so they're probably pretty strong. And I just don't want them to have free reign to attack my guys using the catapult. That's a lot of flaming arrows though. Alright. Come on, attack. Oh my god, this AI is so stupid. They're in skirmish mode, so they're not actually supposed to fight anybody. But yeah, they just ran up and started stabbing. Which, I mean, they look like they're doing pretty well.
Attack! Our foe fights with horns made of clay. We are winning the battle. We have breached our foe's walls.
Alright. Well, that worked out, I guess. Oh my god, these guys. Alright, just attack. Just attack, catapult people. Oh god, they're coming out of the walls. That makes me nervous. I think I'm going to need to get my infantry and kind of move forward to protect just in case. Oh, no, they're just attacking me. So I'm just going to send all my missile troops up here to kind of tell them 1-4. That wasn't even close. Oh my god. What are they doing? Maybe I should have just charged with my cavalry. I mean, oh, there we go. See, look, they're throwing snares at them. There's some Omani spearmen coming at. Wow, I mean, I love the AI in this game. It's pretty stupid. We got some noble answers. Uh-oh. I did not do a good job preparing for this battle. Oh, man. Okay, so this is what's going on. These Arabian noble lancers attacked from a side gate of some kind. Alright.
They have cut off the serpent's head. The enemy general is slain. Let's see how these snakes fight without their head.
Like I said, AI, not so great.
Victory is well within our grasp. In time, our foe will surely see this and lose heart.
Alright, so the general is dead. My troops are a mess. I should never really fight battles. I'm not great at battles, even though I've been playing this game for like, at this point, over 10 years, I think. So I'm still sending some big ol'... Oh my god, they closed the gates. That's hilarious. The AI closed the gates on the enemy, so there it is. Okay, there we go. So let's see, where are my troops? First of all, missiles. That was awesome. Did you see that? That was so cool. I think it went through the wall and just smashed this one. So I'm going to stop having my catapults do whatever they're doing, because I'm pretty sure they just hit my own troops. You've got to be kidding me. Alright, so do not fire at will. And you hang out there. Missile troops, you are going to go straight into skirmish mode, and we're going to send everybody in. Just kill them. Just kill everybody. We're going on fast.
Allah is glorious. Our foe fights with horns made of clay. We are
from
winning
both
the
ends.
battle.
Yeah, there we go. Just keep on going. This is ridiculous.
Only half the enemy force remains. We must pray they lose their will to fight.
So I'm just attacking with these Arab spearmen with a mixture of cavalry and a mixture of infantry. So I'm just going to move my cavalry off here. It doesn't make sense for me to attack spearmen. I'm going to ask them to go up here. And then I'm going to ask my infantry to go here to the center area, because you have to capture this little town square if you want to get anything
Foe
out
fights
of this
with
game.
horns made of clay. We are winning the battle.
I think I'm actually doing pretty well, but I'm also like not entirely pleased with the performance of my self in this, because we have to send all these huge troops up. Oh my god, I'm gonna lose my general because I'm an idiot.
My lord, wisest one, we have lost control of the city.
Okay, so at a certain point you kind of take over the central square, and it counts down to 3 minutes, and then we're good to go. So I'm pretty sure I've killed
All
everybody.
praise to Allah. Your great victories are like sweet nectar.
See, this
Come,
is where I always get
let us
kinda...
drink of the most rare and glorious fruit.
I love the commentary in this. This is where I get kind of annoyed though, because look at that. I lost 128 people. I bet if I auto-resolved that I would have lost like 5. But you know, it is what it is. I shouldn't complain. We won our first battle. We won it pretty handily. I think I'll be able to retrain most of these troops pretty quickly, because I haven't really expanded outside of my home. So it's not like, you know, I'm not in Yemen trying to get Omani nobles. You know, I'm in Oman. So that's always a good sign.
Hiding as the infidels would. Such is the fate of all infidels who face me. I swore they would regret resisting us, Sultan. And they do.
I love what they say. It's like kind of offensive, but hilarious. So I'm just gonna occupy it, I'm just gonna occupy the settlement because I don't want to sack it. So Grand Mufti Kalan is now slightly more dreadful, but also slightly more chivalrous. What does that mean? Well, it means that Umar is the governor, because that guy can't make up his mind. So yeah, look, I can retrain my warriors right away. Got my Aceh warriors. And yes, they're from the Spice Islands. That's awesome. And then let's repair our wall. And like I said, we're going to build an Abadi Masjid. What's nice is I'm pretty sure they knocked it down for me once I came in. So let's just do that. And let's bump that tax rate up to very high. Population growth goes down when you bump up taxes, so does public order. But I think it's worthwhile for us because, I mean, I went from losing money to, well, I'm still losing money because I built some stuff, but I think that was a very successful first turn. I feel really good. Let's end turn, and then let's see kind of where we are, and then we're going to call this the end of episode 1 of, we got to figure out that title. So by the time you're watching it, I'm going to have that title, but maybe we can brainstorm. I don't know, I kind of think Oman What a Trip would be a good title for it, because the goal of this is to literally go across everywhere. So I want to go on a trip with my armies. So we repaired, we retrained. Oh boy, we are garbage, you guys. We are garbage. I'm pretty sure there's 24 factions in the game. So that means we are 24 out of 24. So, you know what that tells me? There's nowhere to go but up. And that's exactly what we're going to do starting next turn. Thanks for watching. Please feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. and stay tuned for part 2.